Hey everybody, Josie here, and today I'm gonna be reviewing War for the Planet of the Apes. Now, this movie, and this series or this new trilogy, when the first one came out, when it was first announced that they were remaking or doing a prequel to Planet of the Apes, I thought it was a very bad idea, and I don't know, it just seemed very silly to me, especially after what Tim Burton did to the movie with his movie, and I just felt like, why would you even do want to do it? And then when it came out and I went to go see it, um, it blew my mind. That movie, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, it's probably one of my favorite movies like ever. And for me, I consider it a science fiction classic. To me, it's up there with like Terminator 2 or Aliens. And Predator, all these cool science fiction movies that I think will be classics forever. To me, that movie, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, it does that for me. It's one of those movies that I'll always love, and just it's it's a very powerful. Just I still remember when I watched it in theaters. And like that first time that Caesar spoke, it just it gave me chills, and I just rewatched it a few days ago, um, and it still has that impact. And not a lot of movies do that. And even up to this this day, I don't think any movie or any scene has gave me that same effect. Probably the only other movie that I could think of at the top of my head that gave me those same chills and that same feeling was probably at the end of Rogue One with Darth Vader. Um, Other than that, like that's pretty much it. So I hold that first movie in very high, like a very high pedestal. That's to me that's a masterpiece. I think the only real flaw in the first movie is some of the human characters, but even then it's just very minor. And that story they told was it's a very smart story. And then when they announced the sequel, I was obviously very excited. And I watched it, and it wasn't amazing like the first one. And honestly, I didn't expect it to be. And at this point, I don't expect anything else to be as good as the first one. Uh, but it was a very great sequel, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. Um, and I liked it. The only the difference with the second one is that they went more of a I guess a blockbuster route, or and to appeal for like a wider audience, I think, and they added like more action and all that stuff, and all that stuff is great, and I think a lesser director would have probably screwed it up, but no, I think he managed to um balance like the storyline, and he did have a very personal story, with Koba. I just think in that movie, Koba was like it was Koba's movie in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the second one, and and yeah, just his whole scene. It also it made me teary eyed when that scene in the second movie with Koba telling Caesar like how he feels about humans. It's just great. It's amazing, and then when this movie was announced, obviously I'm already in. I love these movies. And I should also show you guys something I purchased. You see, I got my Caesar. I got this from I don't know where I got it, but it just shows you how much I love these movies. Maybe I should just do the whole review with Caesar just dogging you guys. But yeah. So what do you think about Planet of the Apes? Yeah, they're great, right? So yeah. So then when the new one was announced, I was excited, of course. And I'm gonna tell you guys that was my most anticipated movie, and it did not disappoint. I'm I'm telling you guys, this movie was great. I loved it. It's probably my favorite movie so far this year. Um, Maybe I hold a bias, but honestly, this is one of those movies that if it wasn't good, I'd be so disappointed. But you guys, it just like blew me away. Just because the main thing is, you have movies nowadays. They got all this inflated budget. Like like Transformers for example, and even something like Guardians of the Galaxy where they have all this budget and then they what they do is they just throw a whole bunch of CG at the screen. I think in my review for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I mentioned how it kind of bothered me, or how towards the end it was just like CG everywhere, and it kind of takes you out of it for a bit. The thing with Guardians is the fact that the characters are so great. That that it didn't matter all that much. But with this one, with this with War for the Planet of the Apes, they had that budget, but and they had special effects and visual effects, but the way they use it is very smart, and they use it to tell the story and enhance it. You know, as opposed to other movies was just CG that serves no real purpose other than just spectacle. And which is cool because I think in the second one they went more of the spectacle route towards the end, especially with the climax. But in this one, uh, I think he found the perfect balance, more so than in the second movie where the CG just serves the film and the story. You know, the apes are very lifelike. I think they look way more lifelike now than before, and that's a given how the technology is advancing. Uh, but yeah, they're just so lifelike, and at the end of this movie towards the climax, it felt like they were gonna go for the big spectacle and all this explosion and stuff, but no, they stuck to their story. They stuck to keeping it personal to Caesar and the apes. um and I think that's very smart, a very smart thing to do, and it just shows you how this director knows what he's doing, and pretty much knows these characters and cares about this movie and this franchise. So it's nice to see. Um, the performances again, they're great. Andy Serkis just blows me away once again. And the characters, they're all great as well. My only issue is probably Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson. I think his characters. I don't know. Because Woody Harrelson was such an amazing actor. I feel like his role just didn't fit him as an actor. I think anyone could have played that role. It just didn't really matter. So I didn't care much for him. His arc was pretty cool. I like what they did with it, but I just feel like I don't know. Woody Harrelson didn't really bring much to the role, or as much as I would have liked. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what other people think about that. But like for me, the main thing was these apes. Just I'm like so attached to these guys. You know, you got Maurice, Caesar, Rocket, which were all there from since the beginning. You know, Rocket is just it's the guy that picked on him when he first showed up to the ape sanctuary, and it's just amazing how they're practically brothers now. And Maurice is like my favorite. I love that guy. And then you got what was the other one? Luca, I think. Yeah, that was Luca is the gorilla. He first appeared in the second movie, I think. Um, and you know, I don't know why I'm so attached to these apes. Like I see them and then their struggles, and then when they're like in danger, I literally get I don't know, I feel very uneasy and tense, and that's a testament to this franchise that they made you care about these apes, these digital creatures that are on screen, and again that goes to show you that you can use CG in a very convincing way, but you gotta tone it down. Don't go overboard, and make it realistic. You know, that's what they did with these apes, and the fact that it's all motion captured. You know, it kind of leads to the believability, believability. Makes it believable, um, that these are actual creatures and not digital. Because I think the key is that they nailed the uncanny valley. You know how you have a digital creature, and it's just there's all no matter how good you make it look, sometimes just the eyes are never perfect. I think they kind of nailed it now, and I think in the second one they nailed that technique. So the eyes pretty much look real. So then you believe the whole face and stuff. I also want to mention how much I love this guy right here, this little guy right here. His name is a Bad Ape in the movie, and I think he's amazing. He's probably one of my favorite characters in this movie, and it's amazing how they could add a new character, and um and you still care for him and accept him into this world. Well, especially for me, it's really great that they could do that. You know, with a new character, and make him endearing and basically a part of this world now. And I loved his character. Every moment he was on screen was just gold for me. Um, it's also pretty cool how Koba, even though Caesar killed him in the last movie, um, his presence is still seen here. Because he still haunts Caesar in a way because um, Caesar's whole thing was always that apes don't kill other apes, and the fact that he had to put Koba down is just it still haunts him to this day, and I think that's great storytelling, and it works well. And then the whole thing about Koba's followers, how they felt they couldn't go back to Caesar, so they're working with the humans. That whole aspect is it's really cool. Just stuff you don't think about, or it could be easily overseen, but they address it very well, and it just makes this whole movie um all that more enjoyable for me. Um, there's also another human element. They introduce this little girl. Um, I'm a bit torn about how I feel. I feel like I like her character. I like the girl, the actress. She's pretty cool, and I like what she does. And I do see why they think they need another element, just because it is very much apes versus humans, and in order to make you not completely hate humans, because this is the way it's set up is, you got all these people that are hunting the apes, so you automatically you hate the humans. I think by adding this girl, um it kind of makes you it kind of evens it out, or evens your hate about a bit, because it makes you realize that, not, it's like, okay, maybe I don't hate all humanity, and maybe there is good humans still out there. And I think that's the point, and that's the reason why they had this human in it, because otherwise you just really hate the humans, or you'd find it really difficult to root for the apes when they hate humans so much. So by this, you're showing them that, okay, they don't hate humans, they're really just trying to survive, and maybe Caesar's going out for revenge, but ultimately, all the apes, they're very much, um, they're fighting for survival, and that's one thing that I've always liked. These apes, they just want to be left alone, but we keep going after them, and so anything that happens to us, that's on us, because we went after these apes. And I don't know. I'm just I'm just kind of rambling on a bit, so I'm just gonna bring this review to a close. To me, this movie is probably the best movie I've seen this year, and in a long time. I freaking love this movie. I just love everything about it. It was just so perfect. Just like I said, the way they handled the climax, and their budget, not going for the big spectacle, it's very much appreciated. Even though there is spectacle, I'm not saying there's nothing there. It's just when you see if you watch the movie, you know at the ending they could have gone a whole different route, but then they stuck to their story, and that's impressive. That's respect. I respect that, and you don't get to see that a lot in Hollywood. So, big kudos, and yeah, I highly recommend this movie to anyone who hasn't seen it, and who anyone who anyone who hasn't seen it, and if you have seen it, heck, go watch it again. I'm gonna go watch it again probably. Just I really love this movie. uh, anyway, you guys, that's my thought on War of the Planet of the Apes. And yeah, so um. I recently popped in the Blu-ray for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the first one in this trilogy, and I realized I still have my digital code, and it still has not expired. It expires in December of this month, I think. I'll double check if, but yeah, since I'm not gonna use it, and it's about to expire. I'm thinking of giving it away to one of you guys. So, in order to win, I'll make it really simple. Just give me I don't know. What's one movie that you consider to be a classic just because you love it way, way more than probably anyone else does? Just a movie that's a classic to you, you know? And, and yeah, just like, comment, subscribe. It would be appreciated. And yeah, leave the comment as I said. And I'll pick the winner probably a week from now just to give people enough chance to participate. And anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.